Hey everyone, what's going on? Retire on Dividends here. Back to continue the series of how to retire on. For those of you that are new to the series, so basically we just take one high yield fund and we check out the historical data, and then we try to plug in, assuming the future plays out the way history did, how much, it would take for us to retire and what kind of numbers we'd be looking at 5, 10, 15, even 20 years out. So today's video is going to focus on SVOL. So a lot of people in the high yield space that are new to the high yield space probably don't even know what SVOL is. So SVOL, it's made by the Simplify ETF company. It's called Simplify Volatility Premium ETF. I call it really the steady Eddie of the industry, of the high yield industry, because it's pretty boring. It pays about like 30 cents a month, but it always pays 30 cents a month. And there is little to no appreciation, but there's not a massive drop, like sometimes these higher yielding funds like Yield Max and Defiance, you'll notice any given time there could be huge drops in the price. With SVOL, you don't really see that as much, and people feel much more secure owning it. So let's go through a few things on the website, and then we'll get to the calculation, the fun part. So right now, the price of SVOL is about $22.75. So what does SVOL even do? Well, let's just read directly from the website. It seeks to provide investment results before fees and expenses that correspond to approximately 1/5 to 3/10 the inverse of the performance of the volatility index, short-term futures, while also seeking to mitigate extreme volatility. So basically, it shorts the VIX, right? So it says the fund's short VIX position provides investors an optimized exposure for monetizing the premium in the VIX future market, okay? What is the VIX? It's basically volatility, right? So let's keep going. There is a fact sheet. I haven't looked at that in a while. So here's some key points. It's the first ETF providing inverse VIX exposure. 25% short VIX exposure helps to balance trade-off between high income and volatility drag. Okay, there's monthly distributions. There's no Schedule K1 required. What else? Nothing really exciting here. Here's some of their current holdings, treasuries, and then obviously the short VIX position. There's some definitions, options, convexity, NAV. Yeah, nothing too exciting there. Let's go back to the website. They have a prospectus. Let's not get into that. I did review SVOL way back when. If I remember, I'll get that into the top of the comment. I'll pin it to the top of the comments. All right, so what else we got here? Here's a video on SVOL, another video on SVOL, and here's some information. So ticker, obviously SVOL. Gross expense ratio, 1.16%. This was increased not that long ago. I don't know if this is a permanent increase, but either way, that's pretty high overall in the high yield market. But I'm pretty sure what they do is not easy. So 1.16%, you could say it may or may not be worth it. Distribution yield, this is what we're all here for. The website shows 15.96%, but I do my own calculation on that, and I'll show you that in a second. Here's the breakdown of the management fees. So they have management fees at 0.5% and then other expenses 0.66%, total being 1.16% if you did want that breakdown. Let me skim through this part. Freaking bug crawling on me. All right, let's keep going. We kind of went through the holdings, but let's click on the distributions, recent distributions. Kind of a bulky looking website, which is kind of a pain. But here's the latest distribution, 30 cents, right? Shocker, 30 cents, right? And we go back another month, 30 cents. Okay, 30 cents, there we go. And then a month prior, 30 cents. All right, wow. All right, so you get the gist, right? So in short, we kind of get what they do. They short the VIX, short volatility. So, and it's kind of worked out, right? It's overall, we'll take a look in a second on the spreadsheet. It's a different type of fund that is not offered, too much out there. I don't know who their competitors are, but I'm sure there will be some out if there are not already. But right now, a lot of investors do feel comfortable. At least I'm talking about high yield investors do feel comfortable buying into SVOL as sort of their steady eddy option. All right, so now let's take a look at the details. All right, so first off, real quick, I have already made a video on Roundhill, QDTE, and XDTE. I've made a video on WiMAX, Misty, QQQY, FEPI, and Coney. Today's video is SVOL. So this is the order I have the remaining videos in, but if you guys have any other suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, if you don't mind, if you do enjoy these types of videos, please hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot. All right. So SVOL. So their inception, I believe it was May 21. If you go to the website, where the heck is it? There it is, inception date. May 12th, 2021 is when they came out. So I'm going to do a 3-year price comparison. So I'll start June 26th to June 25th, okay? So on June 26th, 2021, the price of SVOL was $27.15. On June 25th, 2024, the price of SVOL is $22.52. So I took that differential and subtracted out the difference, obviously, which was, 5 or 4, whatever. And then I divided that by 3 to get $1.54. So they approximately lost $1.54 from capital appreciation per year. So that is a 5.68% drop per year in capital appreciation on average over the past 3 years. This is kind of not expected. I thought they, performed a little better, but either way, it's not terrible at the same time. Now, distributions. So what I do for that is I pull up the last 12 months of distributions. And as you can see, from July 23 all the way up to June of 24, 30 cents is the trend. I also track what they yield during that time. So they yield around 15 to 16%. So in summary, total distributions paid for the last 12 months, 330. Average monthly distribution yield, not monthly, annual distribution yield is 15.95%. So knowing that, let's go back into the Retire Son tab. By the way, it's just a funny name because I'm retiring, son, right? So anyway, let's get to it. So distributions 331, that shows to be about 12% based on obviously the launch date. It's 15% more so based on the current price. Total return, so if you take out the capital appreciation loss on average, and then you add in the distributions, it's about $1.76 per year, which is a 6.5% gain. So overall, I'm showing the average yield based on what it was on declaration date every single month for the past 12 months, and they're paying about 15.95%. Okay, and then we'll take the capital depreciation of 5.68%, and we'll use those numbers when figuring out how much we're going to get paid. Some other factors real quick on the bottom, they, like I said, have an expense ratio of 1.16%. So if I take that and along with the depreciation of 5.68%, so those two factors, again, C17, which is already negative, minus D17, creating a double negative, right? Almost what we'll say, this is high 6 point something percent. And then you divide it by 12, how much they lose per month. So they're losing 0.57% per month. All right, now, as far as the scenario, the first scenario I'll use is, let's just assume a starting age of 18 years old, a starting investment of $500, okay? So that's the starting point. And then the monthly investment, and I finally updated this, right? I'll plug in the annual, and then the annual updates here. I know I screwed up the last one, guys. I got quite a few comments on it, but it's because the formula wasn't updated. I should have caught it live. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but it is what it is. All right, so on this scenario, we're going to assume 18 years old, $500 starting investment, $500 a month. So the calculation tab does all the work. And this is, of course, assuming this person starts January of 2025. Now, right off the bat, they're making an annualized income of $79.73, okay? But per month, like that first month, they're going to make $664. I know that's basically nothing. And unfortunately, they're going to lose $285. And then obviously we'll take out taxes as well, which will start off the capital for the next month. So again, we'll take G2 capital 500 plus J2 monthly income 664 plus L2 capital depreciation of 285 plus H2 monthly contribution another $500 minusing taxes of $1.66. So this would be their starting point for the next month, which is $1,213. Okay, and then you could see down the line where they would be at capital wise, month over month, month over month, month over month. The pink are kind of like the milestones, right? So 2034, they'd be 27 years old, and they'd already have capital of 69,189 with a monthly income of $919.44. Okay, so now let's just take look at our shortcut, we'll call it chart. So year one, again, they produce 79.73 a year. Year 5, 4,334 a year. Year 10, 11,000 a year. Year 15, 19,679 a year. And year 20, 30,000 a year. Of course, these aren't, unfortunately, like the way this, calculates. It's doing like 4 years from year 1 to year 5, and then 5 years. I still have to fix that. But regardless, at age 37, doing that same methodology, they would be producing an annualized income of $30,839. This is not all that impressive. However, being 37, producing that type of passive income is impressive. But, we'll plug in a few different scenarios as well. So again, that's the 18-year-old scenario. So let's do like the 30. Let's say you're 30 years old. And at 30, you probably have a little more money. Maybe you can shell out $5,000, right? And then we'll leave the $500 a month, okay? So what do these numbers look like now? Well, year 1, $797 annualized income. Year 5, $5,214. Year 10, $12,169. And year 15, $21,145. So by 44 years old, they'd be making $21,145. Which, again, that's really not that impressive. You know what I mean? These numbers are not too impressive here. How the hell did that seem type of low? 32,000. Let me undo. What was it before that? Yeah, 500. What did 500 do? 30,000. 5,000 only did 32,000. Wow. Okay. All right, so yeah, not much. Again, you can see the compounding effect on a lower yielder is not as powerful. This is more so like the steady eddy. So now let's look at someone who's in retirement, right? So there's a lot of people that are retired. Let's just say they're 65 years old, right? And they have $500,000. And they need to live off the money right away, right? So right off the bat, they can make $79,732.34. Monthly income, $6,644.36. Weekly income, $1,533.31, and so on and so forth. Year five, obviously, kind of irrelevant because they're probably not going to reinvest anymore. So they're going to live off the income. So you're kind of stuck at the year one salary. So again, SVOL, although yes, to me, in my opinion, I consider it a pretty steady Eddie. Although, 5% loss per year, I got to be honest, not that great based on the 16% distribution. Plus, their expense ratio is rather high. It's even higher than the regular yield max funds. So it's costly. It's very costly. But shorting the VIX, that's not something I can do. That's not something I want to do, right? It's just a different, I'll call it a diversification option in the market for you. And again, we have choices. We can or we can't. It doesn't matter. You guys can invest whenever you choose. You need to do your own research, run the numbers. What makes sense for you? Does SVOL make sense for you? Maybe, maybe not. Obviously, plugging in the numbers for SVOL versus YMAX versus, some of these others, not so impressive. But this is a more realistic fund, right? And I will, take a look at this one more time. Let's just say you're 25 years old. Let's do one more. And then, you don't have 500,000 at 25. Maybe you have 5,000, right? So you have $5,000, you're 25. You're going to start a Roth IRA, all right? So there you go, 5,000. You're going to put in about 500. The Roth limit, I know it went up. What is it? 6,500, 7,000 maybe. But either way, it's in a Roth. So the tax rate is nil, right? So I can now delete this and then see what the numbers look like, right? So if I delete the tax, you go here, obviously taxes are completely removed, which helps the calculation. So, in the end, year one, obviously you're making $797 annualized. But by year 20, you'll be making $52,825. And that's only at 44 years old. So keep that in mind. But the problem is you can't touch this money till 59 and a half. So obviously the compounding will continue on and on and on. So it will get better and better, right? Which is good. So if investing in a fund like this in a tax-free account is great. Of course, that's if you want to wait until you're an old fart. And my mentality on that thought is I'm done doing that, right? I'm done putting money into a retirement fund if I want to retire early. What sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. I don't want to retire at 59 and a half. Most people want to, they assume they have to retire at 65. And that mentality is just not fair. People should not work that long because they don't even know if they're going to live that long. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And again, I don't know why I'm rambling about this, but this is kind of like why I made these different calculations to see what's possible. Again, SVOL, it's a little less exciting, but it's a little more realistic, right? This fund's been around. It's been available, so people know what they get, all right? 3 established full years. At least we know, okay, it drops around 5.68%, but, it's going to yield us, based on, at the time, it'll yield us around 15 to 16%. So obviously, that's a safe, gain so far, right? Total return we're talking about, obviously, not just capital gains. There are no capital gains just looking at that. But if you take total return, which is capital plus dividends, obviously there are gains to be considered. All right, guys. So that's all I really got as far as the retire on SVOL. But again, I didn't plug in too many scenarios because I shared this calculator. So after I post the video, and please remind me if I forget, I will put this spreadsheet into the spreadsheets channel on my Discord. And again, that's for you guys in case you want to play with it, run the numbers, do whatever you want. It's your file. Take it, save it in your own phone, laptop, whatever. And let me know what you guys think. Is SVOL a good option? Are you not impressed? Or do you love the steady Eddie? Do you love the security blanket? Again, it's not that old, but it's at least over 3 years old. So we have true historical data to use, which, it's kind of good. Personally, I do own SVOL. It's a small portion, and I'm going to keep it. Again, I'm not a fan of them increasing their expense ratio as of late, but it is what it is. Again, if they can produce, what they've been over the past 3 years. If they can continue that, I'm pretty content with that. But again, I try to average an income of 40% yield. So this kind of drags me down. However, it's Mr. Consistency at the same time. I have a lot of different Mr. Consistencies, and then I have a lot of obnoxious high yielders. So it's a good balance of everything, but you have to be very active in various funds like that. Anyway, guys, I'm done yapping. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you were entertained. If you were, please hit the like button. If not, I'll try harder on the next How to Retire On series, which reminds me, please let me know what fund you would like to see next. If I don't get any crazy feedback, I will be doing YMAG, right? So YMAG would be the next one to do. YMAG has done very well, just like YMAX. So that one will be pretty damn good. And then of course I'll do NVIDIA, and then others like AMZ, IWMY, ULTI, and SPY-T. But if you want it in a different order, if you want a different fund next, please leave that in the comments. If I have a majority shift, then I'll go that way. But I'm going to do my own order unless you guys, unless I see the feedback come out differently. If you want to check out my other videos, just go to the How to Retire On playlist. There's several others. And as mentioned, I should be posting pinning the top comment as my SVOL review video, which is a little old, but at least I talk about it more, how it works in general, because that's really not what this video was about. This video was about looking at how SVOL performed, plugging in how it would perform in the future, based on history. And keep in mind, I always say this fund will not perform just, based on history. That doesn't mean the fund, that's how it's going to perform. It could perform better. It could perform worse. We don't know. But we're playing a hypothetical here, all right? Anything can happen. But yeah, check that out if you want. Anyway, I'm done. This is actually my third video this morning. I woke up really early to get 3 videos done, and I am exhausted. Now I have to get dressed and go to work. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, please share, comment, like, whatever, and then I will talk to you on the next one. All right, later.